that was so happy and and I was just like, when she said that, you guys, I was just like, wow, that was my aha moment to say, you know what? I have to get out. This is like a get out movie at this point. So
hello.
Yes. Run, sis, run.
Yes, run.
Well, to say something to that is, so I did that. I've been a journaler since I could write. I have like so many diaries since kindergarten, basically. And so I always self-reflect, you know me, Nicole, like I'm holistic, meditating, all that stuff, prayer, deep into it all the time. And so I did see that, and I was like, I probably shouldn't be in this relationship anymore. But I tried to get away a few times, right? I tried to run a few times, and he was able to pull me back in. It was that carrot again. It was that carrot again. And sometimes I think I was just supposed to go through this relationship just to be on this side, to begin to help other women. Because I realized, I was like, a lot of times I would be like, okay,
what is going on?
This is not right. This is not even really what I want. But then, like I said, the pull back in, and then it would feel comfy and good. I'm like, okay, all right. So maybe he just, needs a little extra loving and attention to build up to that man that I know that he can be. Right?
He was just a jerk.
Right. Let me ask this question then to both of you ladies. What was your aha moment where you really like, what was the gold stamp where you're like, I have to get out? What was that situation like for you ladies?
Right. So that's what I was going to say. When I knew that it was a true personality disorder, that there was a true chemical imbalance in his brain. So therefore, he cannot change unless, I guess, he got medication or something. I don't know. But I couldn't do it. I mean, first you can't, help somebody that doesn't want to be helped. You can't change. Now we know we can't change a man. We cannot do it. If they are going to treat you the way that you deserve to be treated, they know how to do that. Yeah. They see your worth. They know how beautiful you are. So they're choosing to be toxic and abusive and not truly appreciate you for whatever insecurity they have within themselves. And so I didn't realize that, obviously, while I'm in it. But like I said, the breaking point for me, even though this is crazy too, because I went through a lot of abuse, a lot of toxicity. I left and came back. Okay. But the only thing that clicked for me was that it was a personality disorder, that I can't change it. You know what I'm saying? I realized that it was something that was traumatized within his past or bloodline that is so far
deep. Bloodline.
Yes, so far deep. So far deep within, there was nothing I can do. Then plus, okay, besides that, my babies. I did not want my children to see me go through the abuse that I endured, the manipulation, right? So I didn't want them to see it. I didn't want to hear somebody trying to break me down mentally, to gaslight me, say you're one thing this day and the next thing you're not, And I didn't want my children, especially my daughter, of course, to see any of that. Yeah. So my daughter, at the time that I was able to escape, my daughter was 1. Okay, I think she was about to turn 2. Yeah, she was about to turn 2. And an incident occurred and she was present. And I was like, no.
Wow.
That basically, it was basically that night. It was that night that I left. I was like, I don't want her. I mean, of course, I don't want my son to see it at all. But you know how it is with your daughter, because she's going to be like you. She's going to have your same traits, and she's going to endure what you endure. She's going to try to do it, because that's what happened, with my mother. I saw her go through some things, and I was like, well, she stuck it out. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I should really keep it going. You know what I'm saying? This kids. But it's never, enduring abuse is never for the kids.
Yeah.
Don't ever try to say I'm sticking in it for my kids, because whatever they see is going to traumatize them even more. So you stand up for yourself. You find who you are within. You discover your self-worth, because you are worthy. This is why the narcissist chose you, because of your worth. He saw the beauty, the talents, the gifts, the spirit, the soul within
Everything.
you, right? And he needed to feed off of that because they always need a supply. It's like crack, right? They need.
It is.
Yes,
It
exactly.
is.
Yes, they need to pull from your energy. Just being a woman, we hold the portal. We are the portal to life, and we hold the creativity. We hold that sprinkle, right? So they always
Sprinkle, right?
yes.
I
We're
love
always
it.
going to try to pull from that. So if you are in a narcissistic relationship, just know that you are supply. That's all that you are.
Yeah.
And once you get that in your
Like on the
head,
counter. Just
Yes.
pull an inventory.
Yes.
Use me when you want to. I think my experience, like I luckily kind of started to see the signs in general in my relationship, my past relationship. But for me, it was more so just the second guessing and doubting myself after hearing certain things or having certain conversations with him. And it's just like, wait, like, because I know how I was before I got into this relationship. Now I'm not feeling like myself.
Right.
Like the confidence is going away.
Mhm.
Like I feel like I really can't talk to you. And so now I'm like playing things in my mind and really like just doubting myself and my like inner being like, well, dang, well, what did I do? And how can I make it better?
Mhm.
But then you sit there and realize like, it's not you. Like, why when I have conversations with you, like I feel bad inside. Like I feel like I did something wrong. And it was the whole thing too of like dangling the carrot, like, hey, I want to work towards this. We're gonna be this power couple. We're gonna do this. And then
Can we all listen? We can all relate to that. We can.
yeah, like okay, good. And then no, in the movie, fairy tale is not happening at all. So it. Oh,
so when you felt that, yeah, right. So when you felt that feels. See, she's smart. This is why she's my bestie. This girl did not allow anybody to drag her through the mud. Not all the way.
Yeah.
She got a little tough.
I got a little dirt.
She got a little dirty, but she was like,
And I was like,
big red
going
flag.
through too much in life.
Yeah.
To sit there and let you constantly like make me feel low.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
it ain't
So
going
she
on.
knows her worth and her greatness.
It ain't
within.
going. What happened with you, Nicole? Tell us a little bit about your experience.
So for me, the end of the relationship was the new girl coming in, and I have to say thank you because if it wasn't for her, I would probably still be going through my cycle.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Listen, girl, thank you. Thank you. Let me thank you. Let me give you your flowers right now.
Her flowers.
Yeah, so that was probably the first thing. In regards to realizing he was a narcissist, is we were going through mediation, and the mediator said, has he always been like this? And I was like, when someone else points it out and you start to realize like, okay, it's not me, because now I'm starting to see a pattern, right? And it even got to the point of, I had to go through a lot of court proceedings because I have children. So the other aha moment for me was when my anger management assessor got into an argument with him, right?
Wow.
Then his attorney came back and said, well, we want to choose an anger management assessor. My attorney, we picked 3. He got to pick he picked 3. I got to choose one out of the 3. I picked one. And then when we went back to court, he said that wasn't sufficient enough. Then that was kind of like, I was like, I'm really dealing with. Yeah, I'm like, I'm dealing with someone that's on a whole nother level.
Exactly.
So it's my best interest because it was so draining. I was like, I can't even go back and forth with this individual. There's never going to be a happy medium. So that was I was like, you know what?
Yes.
I'm done. I was like, in a second, I love my children. I really, really do. But it's like, at this point, it's me. It was me before it was anyone else. So
Yeah.
I have to figure out what's important for my mental health, because at the end of the day, I have to be here and present for my children when they become of age, and then everything else will make sense to them. So yeah,
exactly.
I was like, "Ooh, I got a special one. I don't know where this one came from. Who did it?"
To touch on that point, though, is why we didn't see a lot of these things coming. Like when we have to go into court and deal with these legal matters.
Oh, yeah,
it's because of the mental manipulation we were under during that entire time. Think of the span of the relationship, right? So each year that you're in, I mean, each day, but really, if you count those years, that person is chipping away at you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So really, when you come out of that relationship, and that's why things didn't click for so long, because of all the mental confusion and abuse. So that's why you should give yourself grace, definitely. But when you get into those court proceedings, you didn't know that they was about to hit you from all these different angles, right? Piece. And that's why when we talk about that, run, sis, run, okay? Yeah. Before you go, and you're like, okay, I know this person is a narc, checks all the boxes. This is very toxic. It's not good for my health all around, and my children's health as well. Get the parenting laws in your state. Study the parenting laws in your state, okay?
It's not a game.
No, it's not a game. Know exactly what you have authority over in regards to your children.
Can I speak to that really quickly?
Yes.
I feel, because we were talking the other day, and we were talking about our mothers teaching us how to put a little money to the side, right? And how our mothers didn't teach us. It's because laws have changed, right? Now kids are like, I'll call, CPS, or their parent will call CPS. Right. But our parents, our mothers didn't show us the things to do to protect us when it came to our children. Yes. So for me, it is very, very important, because I was not married legally. I was not married to my kid's father. If I could do it all over, and I know my mother being a huge Christian, I would not put his name on my children's birth certificate. If I could do it all over again, no, sir. We're gonna figure this out. So to all the women, all the ladies, all the young women in the world who are having babies right now, yes, it's cute to make sure that you can put a man's name on that birth certificate so those children can identify who their father is. But when it comes to your mental health, legal rights, listen, I wish I did not do it. Respectfully. I honestly would say, don't do that until you guys are married, until you fully understand what you're dealing with, especially if you have family in another state, because your narcissist has isolated you, brought you to a state where only his family is, where you have no friends, no support or anything. Do not put that man's name on those children's birth certificate. It will allow you to move how you need to move in the future if it does not work out.
Yes, and that's to a certain extent, though, because I kind of followed that rule a little bit unknowingly. Like, I didn't even really know what I was doing. This is really the spirit was coming down upon me. The way this whole situation of the birth certificate worked out, because he wasn't on the birth certificate. I had a home birth with midwives, and I had a little more, I guess, more freedom as to how all of those legalities were to be. And plus he wasn't there. So therefore things, happened the way that they did. However, if the person has the money, they can definitely work around that. You can drag it out, so that you can try to get things in order. But So
it's that state law, though. Yakara, you spoke to that, because one child of mine is Wisconsin, the other one was Minnesota. So to your point, the state laws are very important to make sure. So that coin is important, but literature is also a huge piece of that. So do your due diligence, read up on it, especially if you're planning to have children with someone.
Right. And then so know the parenting laws before you run, sis, run. And, so, right. And then Nicole, like you were saying about our moms taught us to put a little money in a stash. Yeah, you need more than a little money. A little more than skimming the grocery money off the top. You need a little bit more than your clothing allowance, depending on whatever your situation is. But a lot of times when you're in a narcissistic relationship, there's financial abuse and isolation where the person controls your allowance and whatever funds that you may have, or maybe control you from actually going out into the workforce or not, just controlling everything so that you will be dependent upon them.
Yeah, it's a whole other layer.
Yeah, of course I had a little stash. I was like, yeah, a little stash. And then I was also to think also your mental too. This is why it's important to, before you run Sis Run, get some, get some.
You don't want to get caught by the police, right?
Get some therapy. Get a life coach. Get someone that has understanding about what you're going through to kind of help guide you. Because doing this on your own, you start getting scatterbrained, right? So, okay, parenting laws, more than a few $100s or even a few $1,000s, you need retainer fees, okay? You need
all the time.
You need to
or some lawyers who are friends.
Yes. Yeah, you need to have those type of connections.
You need to start going, to the lawyer, legal mixers, okay? To establish yourself in the community so they know who you are. Because a lot of the times, depending on the connections that your toxic ex has, okay? They already have attorneys and lawyers and things established, all right? So their community influence is going to influence the outcome of your case. You don't think that probably, maybe you're a little naive like I was, and was like, they'll just hear my story.
No.
And they'll know who's right and who's wrong. No. At all.
Yeah, mine was so good, you guys. I was thinking the judge would have at least looked at the previous judge's notes. And it's like, yes, to your point, like we're in this, they're going to understand. They're going to be able to look through the case. They don't care. They have so many cases on their, docket that they're going right through them, right? So whatever.
At their legal jargon, right?
Yes.
And they look at the relationship they have with their attorney. It's all a scheme.
Yes,
basically.
it is.
It's a scheme and a scam, right?
Yes.
All of it. It's totally ridiculous. So prepare yourself for that, okay? And don't be afraid too, because it's better to just go through all this than to stay with the narcissist, because you're going to lose yourself, okay? Yes, this is a lot. It can get overwhelming. But if you realize you're with a narcissist, I'm telling you, sis, I am telling you,
run.
It is better to get away.
Run.
In most cases, I'm not going to say all the time, but
I'm going to say all the time. Speak for yourself. Listen, run.
I heard horror stories where, people left and they didn't see the light of day after the narc caught them, So that's something to think about. And that's scary too. That's what you think about when you're in the relationship. Like,
I was about to say it's the same feeling being in there. But it also is triggering too, because it's like you get into the relationship, and especially if they're like high profile, they have a reputation, they're known. So when you're going through these, especially with the court cases, and you're dealing with an ex that has the finances, that has the connections to just literally just make your life like a living hell. And they're expecting you, they're like, oh yeah, I got them this time. But then to keep showing them like, no, I'm a fighter.
That's right.
Like,
and that's the thing.
You ain't gonna take me down this easy.
And that's why before you run Sis Run, go take some kickboxing classes, go to boot camp, be like J-Lo. Watch female empowerment, superpower movies, because you're going to need to activate your superpower. Okay? Because you have to be strong to go through this, okay? So seriously, get the parenting laws in your state. Figure out how you're going to save the retainer fees. They're anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 and above, okay? So depends on your state. Yes, so you need to think about that. And then you also need to get a life coach, mental therapist, somebody that you can begin to talk to. And then, so we think about, how am I going to get $5,000 to $10,000 plus living expenses while I'm in this relationship, especially if you're under financial abuse. So those are the things that you need to think about. There are many ways that you can do this, but the first way to start with it is meditation and prayer, right?
Yeah.
Becoming aware of what you're going through, own what you're going through. Like, I am in this situation. Okay. What is the plan?
What's my next step?
What's my next move? So you need to sit with yourself, get into a quiet spot, go for a meditation walk, whatever your favorite meditation or prayer stance is. Get into that.
Faith.
Faith.
When
And
they
then
say it's only a mustard seed,
mustard seed.
you only need
And
a
then
mustard
you get in. I'm gonna finish. You need to get into a routine of that. So get into a cycle, because every time you go into that prayer stance, you're gonna get a new understanding, and then the next step to your plan. So meditation is important. Okay, go ahead, Nicole.
I was gonna say finding things that make you happy, right?
Okay.
Because a lot of times we lose ourselves going through so much, right? Of manipulation and, you know, just the dangling the carrot, especially in my case, it was my children that had to find what made me happy. And for me, dancing, music, being around friends, being around family. Yeah. So it was like I needed that to slowly regain who Nicole was prior to babies, prior to a relationship, prior to relocating. And then talking to other women and figuring out your strategy. Right?
Yeah.
And you spoke highly about being strategic about how you move. Everything is not meant for social media. Everything is not meant for everyone to know, right?
Exactly.
I am really big on not blasting my business on social media, but my close circle, they know. They also know my kid's father. So, you know, it's unfortunate, but it feels good to also know that I don't have to prove who I am to anyone who is immediately in my circle, because they know me, they know my heart, they know my characteristics, they know who I am as a mother and as an individual. So being strategic is such a big thing. And again, I wish I had more people that I could have talked to prior to going through this motion. But I'm like, my strategy, I'm like, yes, we figured it out.
Yeah.
So, you know, I shared my handle in the chat. So ladies, you can always reach out if you need to. But again, it's making sure you have a game plan.
Yeah.
That's sister circle.
I was just about to say too, yeah, giving out your social media, because then if there are people, just being able to form that circle, that group of like-minded individuals, people that are going through the same thing, and that can really rally together to be like, oh no. Yeah,
right. Not this one. You're not gonna mess with this one over here.
Nicole, can you please put your contact information in the chat for us again, please?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we got a little bit into the topic, but like we said earlier, like it's gonna be a series. Yeah. So we're definitely going to be doing a part 2, maybe even be a part 3, because there's so many things to touch on, and there's more signs, like you mentioned before, there's more signs that you need to be on the lookout for when you're dealing with these relationships. So this was kind of just like the opener to just kind of just get into the conversation and just talk about it and get it out there. But yeah, you people that are viewing, like if you need a resource as well, because we do have
I have a couple
hotline numbers for that.
We're gonna drop those. I have a few different resources, but before we drop those resources and kind of close out on our show, we did say just a ton of things with the Sis Run, but I understand that some people, like Nicole, she had like a sister, it's kind of a sister circle group to go to, and sometimes you're embarrassed. So you said you didn't voice what you were going through. You wish you would have did it earlier. Sometimes you're just embarrassed about the whole situation. I mean, it is embarrassing. But I feel like just us knowing that is to have our closer bond with our sisters. You know, try to get to know and have more compassion on whatever their situation is, because we are quick to judge. You know, so try to remove that judgmental mindset and just kind of be there for them and have a non-biased opinion about what they're going through, and just be supportive. Because that's, a lot of times where I kept a lot of things to myself. And so to speak to that, of having a sister circle, I didn't have one. Mm-hmm. I didn't have one really. I had one person who was hanging tight, for real. Okay. And that was my mom. You know what I'm saying? I'm so thankful that I had my mother, because without her, it would just be me and the creator, And so I had to rebuild, and in order for me to rebuild, I had to just let everything go, right? And just sit with myself and become one with who I am, to pull out my inner strength and realize my self-worth. Yeah. And then realize those people that I was isolated from, or people that dropped off and just did malicious and wrong things that they should do to a friend or someone that they felt dear at heart. I had to just let it go, and I'll be like, if they're supposed to be back in my life, they will, and then I'm rebuilding and making room for the sisters that are really supposed to be here now, right? So
that's right.
Yeah. But I feel like in a way that was a blessing, though, because going through that situation, you find out who's really there for you. You find out what those people's actions and stuff are, and their true character. Right. And everybody's not supposed to go with you in life. You have seasons or a lifetime. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people that you come across in life are just there for those particular seasons. Right. So
I think from everything that I had experienced, especially as I talk to more women, the biggest thing about me is I'm an open book. I feel I'm listen, you could judge me, but you don't pay my bills. So respectfully, I'm going to share my story and pray that it helps another woman out with hers, right? Because you don't know what you don't know until you realize you did not know. So I'm an open book, and I share, and everyone that I know from childhood, they're like, oh my gosh, you as this adult version, you are so much wiser, and how you talk is you have so much education behind what you've experienced. I'm like, yeah, because it's life experience.
That's right. And that's yes, and I'm definitely proud of you. And actually, you have been a sister that's been helping me through this, probably unknowingly. Maybe you didn't even realize how much just having our relationship pours into me. So I just want to say thank you.
Likewise. Trust me. I hopefully just met a new friend as well. But
girl.
I appreciate that. And you did the same thing for me, because again, we could see someone else's situation, but until you really can bond, you can connect, you can share those stories, you can say, girl, me too. You too. Me too. So it allowed me to really go through what I was going through, because it's hard being a mother where you love your babies, you birthed them, breastfed them, you stayed at home, you did all the stuff, the play days with them, just
into your children,
flipped upside down, and unfortunately I had to have those tough conversations with good friends, and thank God we can still be friends. But they're like, listen, one thing we know about Nicole, while she's driving, don't bring up her kids. It's a sensitive topic. Don't bring her kids up. Talk about anything else, don't bring up my baby. So I appreciate it, but I'm very much so an open book. And I hope that while we're doing these podcasts and while you ladies are sharing your story, it really does help other women out with theirs.
Yes, oh, for sure. Definitely. And that's the goal. Like you said before, as long as I can reach at least one person, you've done your job.
Yes.
Because what did they say? Take one, teach one, take one, take one, teach one.
Something like that.
Teach one, teach one. Teach one. There you go.
Yes.
But yeah, just having that, like I said, that circle, that sisterhood, that can rally around each other and just, one, uplift each other, two, don't judge each other. Because when you find oh wow, we have similar story. We've been going through the same thing. Okay, girl, how we gonna partner up so that we can succeed?
That's right.
So sisterhood, and definitely being able to just be in that comfortable setting where you can express and share your story. Because like you said, you know, people get embarrassed and they're like, I don't want everybody to know my business.
Listen, while you guys are saying all these positive things right now, I feel like, you know, we need a sisterhood retreat. So hopefully we get to that space where we can be like, you know, let's have a retreat somewhere.
Yes. That's a beautiful thing. And I'm definitely into that. I love sisterhood healing.
Yes.
Like,
it's important.
Yes.
It's very important, especially for women, but especially for Black women. It's needed. It's needed for sure. So we'll be working on that. We'll be working on that.
Sign me up. I'm coming.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot to do. This is only the beginning, like we've just been saying. Hopefully this Sis Run gave you some tips. I want to run through them again. Yeah. So, and you can add on to this too. So my tips would be know your parenting plans, know your laws in your state. Okay, state specific. Okay, then you need to go ahead and begin to figure out how you're going to save for your retainer fees for all of the legal issues that will incur, especially if your narcissist has the resources and funds to take you to court. He is going to take you to court, and he's going to do it repeatedly. Okay, no reason. For no
just
reason.
Because
over and over,
woke up on a Monday
and over again. Sure, you think about how you're going to do this, okay, and it can be done. Then we're going to start interviewing our attorneys, right? We're going to get into the legal community. We're going to go to some mixers or whatever you can do.
It's about building those connections,
to build
those relationships,
those connections with an attorney, and make sure you interview your attorneys, that they are very aware of narcissists, their personality traits. Have they had some cases where they have won in the situation, and have them explain that case to you. Make sure they understand your particular situation, because it's not like everybody else's. Okay,
they need to be in
be vocal about everything. Be detailed. Start write the date down. Record conversations. Screenshot everything.
Yes.
Put it on record video. Okay. Start telling people. Well, maybe not, because
you can let out a little bit.
Right. Somebody trust it. That's another thing. Yeah. This is another tip I got back in the day too, is email, like have a totally separate email that is just between you and someone you really trust to send your documents to.
That's true.
Yes. Okay, so then we have that, and then work on your mental health, start getting into therapy, life coach, sister groups, you know, start getting into something that's going to build your confidence and self-esteem in a safe place that you can go ahead and let it out, basically.
Release.
And then those are basically what I got before Sis Run, your meditation and your prayer. And you got this. You can do it. It's going to be okay.
Wow. And then Nicole has some, if you want to end off with some too.
I think the biggest one, you hit it right on the head. When you document, listen, that documentation, because, you know, we go through it and you don't realize that you're going to need those documents to show to the court system of everything that you had been going through or experiencing. But documenting is really, really important. And again, going back to even just going through the motions and not even realizing that you're dealing with a narcissist, start to really, not a pros and cons list, but just bullet points of things that are happening. Because when you can really reflect to say, man, I remember, okay, we just got into an argument. He said this, then he did something completely different. It really allows you to see where you are, because I always tell people, no matter what relationship I'm in, time you can't get back. Money you can, right? So I value my time so much. So if I can identify what's going on quicker, sooner rather than later, that puts me in a really good space. So ladies, please make sure that you are documenting to make sure that you're not extending your life with someone who is not worthy of your time.
Right. Get your receipt.
Yes.
You don't have to go a decade like you did. Do not
like learn things from my experience,
yes. We put in the work.
Okay. Learn something from the experience.
In the work, you don't have to. Yeah. So you don't have to. Okay.
Yeah.
Your
So
work
that's really it. That's all I have.
Mhm.
Everything else you kind of touch base on, but that's probably the biggest one. And again, just make sure you find your peace. That's probably the last thing, actually, because I run into a lot of women and they'll card me if I'm going to go buy liquor, and they'll say, "How old are you?" And I realize that my secret weapon is not being stressed. Okay. Because relationships are very much so stressful. Going through what you go through with a narcissist is very stressful, and it adds age. And women, actually, there's a study that says that women who deal with a lot of mental health or a lot of stress factors, their life expectancy is a lot shorter than other women who just live in this free space because they don't have those stress factors, right? Especially when we look at things like cancer. So yeah, I want my youth back. You're not gonna take this back.
You
got
You
it.
are glowing.
Yes,
gorgeous. Yes.
Yes, thank you.
So that is amazing, and I definitely take that at heart as well. I believe in all of that peacefulness. Okay?
Finding your
Protect it at all costs. When you find your peace, protect it. Have those boundaries set. All right, well, this was amazing. Definitely can keep going on and on, but we are going to have you back if you would love to come back. Nicole, come back.
I'm back. Oh yes, I'm coming back. I'm sorry. You guys I was like, wait, what happened? What happened? Yeah, I would love to come back.
It was a delay. Yes.
It was a delay.
She's coming back.
Yes, I'm coming back. We're gonna have this whole group talk, chat again, because I think it's positive. And again, thank you, ladies, for doing this, because it is very much so needed within our community, especially with women, especially with young women, because again, they don't know. Our parents didn't teach us. So if I can help another woman out, listen, girl, you got me.
I mean, this is therapy within
This is
itself.
therapeutic.
So for you guys that are watching, like I said, we all dropped some pretty good gems. So hopefully you was taking notes, or if you need to rewind, go back through. But definitely know that we are going to continue this series because, like I said, this topic is so big and there's so much more to talk about, so many more signs to look out for. So definitely want you guys to tune in. But this was like the intro.
This is the intro. So I just wanted to leave. I'm going to put it in the chat too. But so if you need some additional help, if you want to reach out to somebody to help guide you with therapy, life coaching, just figuring out those bullet points. We have Miss Lauretta, and her Instagram handle is Divination Life Coaching. Divination Life Coaching. And what she works on is invisible blocks. So I've been to a few of her sessions, and she helps recognize things that you don't see, right, within yourself. And then she takes you through a series to break those invisible blocks. And then you become stronger and brighter. And you have more fun. Get back to yourself. So yes, reach out to Miss Lauretta on IG. Again, that's Divination Life Coaching. Reach out to Miss Beautiful Nicole Boyd. With the word. But Nicole, before you go, I don't know if you want to, if you don't have to, but do you want to touch base a little bit about your expertise in your profession?
Yes. So I am a medical esthetician. I train doctors on lasers. That is my background. I've been doing it actually for a really long time. I don't want to date myself, but so skincare, women's health, making sure, you detox from within on the outside, being able to do what I love to even consider the whole food facials, right? So if you don't have the coins because you're trying to put those coins, for that retainer, girl, I got you. We can do some whole food facials. I can tell you what to buy from your local grocery store to kind of help with pigmentation and all of those other things. And women's health, that's another big thing, as we're out here and we're trying to take care of our body, our hormone imbalances. You can always reach out to me. I shared my Instagram, which is Nicole Not Playing Fair. I played fair all my life. I'm not.
dark feminine energy.
Yes,
Yes.
listen, alpha female, she's fully here, and I'm not going. So
Yes,
you can most definitely.
yes, and yes, I'm a testament to her skills. The girl got skills. She's got, put in the work she's been doing, like you said, for a long time. I won't date you, but she has.
She's young.
Date Button.
That Benjamin Button. It's called Run, Sis Run.
Yeah. She knows what she's talking about in regards to skincare. So we're gonna be reaching out to get more information. But thank you so much, Miss Nicole.
Thank you,
and
girl.
thank you, my bestie.
Thank you
for doing this.
Thank both.
She definitely
guys.
encouraged me here because I was I don't know.
I was just like, think about what you've done in the past and what hasn't worked. And now let's think about a new direction and a new path. Mm-hmm. So you've never had an opportunity to use a platform to speak your truth and to tell your story. So I'm like, we got this podcast. We got a platform.
Let's go.
The people need to hear. Yes. So thank you for coming on and telling your story. And thank you, Nicole, for being bold as well and coming on and telling your story as well. So I just want to say, I appreciate both of you. And I hope you guys have learned something from this episode as well. And like I said, we'll be back.
We'll be back. So check us out. We're going to leave all the links and the next show time in the comments. And you leave your comments if you enjoyed this show. Let us know. What did you learn? If you have any questions, reach us at truthbeboldlv@gmail.com. Okay? Just send us an email.
Or mine, you can hit us up on IG.
Yes. At truthbebold.
And just holler at us.
Yeah. Love you guys. Peace and blessings.
Laters.
Perfect.
I think you gotta hit it again.